Hello, friends. You're listening to Angel Face Magic Hour. My name is Grace Lannon. I am an energy healer, an artist, an intuitive, and the host of this podcast. Welcome to 2024, bitch. I'm excited. Today is January 11th, 111, that angel number energy. And today is also a new moon, which is what we're going to be talking about, the energy of this time, this moment. But of course, if you're listening to this podcast at any point, these messages, this guidance could be important and relevant for you. So if you feel the call to listen to this episode and the time has passed, it's not January 11th. Also, the new moon energy kind of hangs out for like 3 to 5 days. If you're sensitive, probably like a week. So this podcast can be relevant for any time. Welcome. Welcome. Today's also my dad's birthday, so happy birthday to my dad. We're going bowling as a family tonight, which I'm very excited about. We haven't done that, I don't know, since I was a child, teenager, who knows? It's been a long time, so it should be fun. And welcome. It's 2024. If you missed the preparing for the new year episode, it's not too late. You can listen to it at any time. With these psychic messages and with this intuitive information, I always just say, whenever it comes across your way, if you feel that like, ooh, maybe I should listen to this, just listen to it. There might be a message in there for you. Time is flexible. So I have some cards. I wanted to pull some cards. I am starting this new year off on the podcast with a new endeavor. I want to, if you missed it, I said this on the 2024 preparing for the new year episode, but I am dropping into a year of nourishment. So my intention for the new year is to do everything from a place of nourishment, which means that it feels good for me to do. So I wanted to do something on the podcast that I think will be fun and exciting for me, but also helpful and informational for you. Also, I got a microphone. I also got this for my birthday. I bought this for myself literally in June, and we're just trying it out now. I don't know if it sounds any better, but we're trying. And I'm trying from a place of excitement and joy and allowing things to feel delicious for me. So the new endeavor is that we're trying this for 3 months. We'll see how it goes. If I like it, if you like it, we'll keep it going. But we're going to do a new moon forecast and a full moon forecast each month. So what does that mean? We're going to be just tapping into the energy. I'm not an astrologer, but I am a psychic. I'm a medium. So I can feel the energy. I love astrology. That's why we've had some people on here this podcast before to talk about astrology, but I'm no way an expert. So it's not going to be necessarily about the astrological information, but I know we're in a new moon in Capricorn. And so we're going to be really tapping into that energy, just like, what can we do right now? What's it feeling like? What can we focus on? So today we're going to be doing a little reading, and I just want to share with you some energy. And perhaps it will shift and change. Perhaps we'll do meditations. I love to host like group healings. I pulled back a lot last year. I was like integrating a lot of my own personal healing. So I haven't done one in a while. So I'm hoping to go back to that and start hosting some Reiki groups and healing groups and things like that. But perhaps in these new moon and full moon episodes, we'll do something similar where we'll do a group healing. But today we're just starting with a reading, a forecast. I just want to tune into the energy, and I really want to just allow things to feel good for me as I'm sharing this information, because it's so important and so vital for me to share my voice. I have to do it, even if it feels hard sometimes, because it's very healing for me. I've talked about this many times on the podcast, but it's very healing for me to speak my mind, say the things, share the information. But it's also vital and important for me, like my mission here on earth as this little angel creature person. I am here just to share information, just to help people feel okay, just to peek into people's lives and share with them information that might be helpful, and to utilize my gifts. So one of the things I like to do is use cards, and I don't always like to do them. Sometimes I like to do readings without them, but I was just kind of like asking myself in spirit, like what would be helpful. And they were like, pull some cards, and mainly as like a point, an anchoring point for us, like something we can focus on. So we're gonna pull oracle cards today. ASMR. I'm just like, I don't know what to do with this thing. And we'll see what happens from there. Capricorn is all about like responsibility and coming back to like our anchor point. What are we focusing on right now? Is there something we can do to bring our focus back? It can be really difficult to go like right into the new year and right into Capricorn. We've been in Capricorn for a while, but like after all this time of the franticness, the craziness of the end of the year and transitioning from that, 7 to 8 year. So there's a palpable, I always have trouble saying that word, palpable shift, you know what I'm saying. There's a big shift. You can feel the shift, but it's also can be a little like stressful because you're almost like, oh, I have to go so fast. Don't worry, tap into the nourishment and just allow things to move slowly. But Capricorn is slow and steady. They can get a lot done, but they also don't need it to happen immediately. It's a long winter. So allow yourself to take steps towards your desires. We've been talking more and more about desires again and again on this podcast because I think a lot of people just don't know what they want and they don't know how to dream. Because every time we try to think of like our dreams and like desires, we're like, but that could never happen because this and that and the state of the world and like, well, oh my God, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's terrifying. Hello, it is scary. I'm not going to say it's not, but I want us not to be weighed down by the experiences of others and the world around you and what people tell you. Like, I want us to be able to tap into our dreams. Like, it's so important. It's so important. And I really want us to go back to thinking about like childhood when you're a child. And maybe maybe you've never had this experience because as a child you had to act like an adult. So tap into the possibility if you've never experienced this before. Because I know that's so true for so many people. They never even had the experience of innocence. So allow us to feel it. But tapping into the idea of like when we were like, what do I want to do when I grow up? What do I want to be when I grow up? What do I want my life to look like? Even like the innocence of being like 15 years old or something. And you're like, when I'm 30 years old, because I'm 33 and I'm like, when I'm 30 years old, I'm going to be like a millionaire, blah, blah, blah. I'm not living on the beach and all these things that I thought I was going to have. Well, I wanted specifically a houseboat as a child, but I'm not having those things. But if I can tap into that remembrance of like what I really wanted, and the experiences I wanted to be a fashion designer and I wanted to live on a houseboat. Those were like my dreams as a child. There is a unobstruction from the desire, from the dream, because there isn't all these stories in your mind of like, it's impossible for me to have that. It's unrealistic for me to have that. And it's really also not getting overwhelmed with the decisions. We want you to tap into the slow and steady pace. My fingers are like galloping. Slow and steady, slow and steady. Everything doesn't have to happen overnight. I think there's so much like energy of instantaneous gratification that we like really, really want. I want it too. I want to wake up and my life has changed, even though I have a great life. But you know what I mean? Like you want to wake up and your manifestations here, your dreams are there, your desires are there. The important part is for us to remember that everything is a stepping stone. So for us to go back and celebrate and reflect on how far we have come, but also knowing like, how can we take these actionable steps? That's what Capricorn loves, is like action. Both of my parents are Capricorns, so, and I'm a Gemini, so it's the pressure. It can feel like a lot of pressure of like, you must complete this and you're being lazy. It's like that inner critic. And that's not all Capricorn is, but that can also come up for us, the inner critic of like, again, it's impossible, that would never happen. Don't shut yourself down before you can even try. Don't shut yourself down before you can even try. So I'm pulling some cards for us. This year too, again, like as we said on the preparing for the New Year episode, this year is really about like that creative energy. So tapping into endless possibilities. If you've ever seen like someone make a sculpture, it's like they made that out of like powder or clay, like something that comes from the earth, like, and then now all of a sudden it's like this hyper realistic thing or this giant thing. Like there are so many possibilities. I'm shuffling, by the way, that's what the sound is. There are so many possibilities that can come out of a material, or like people who like cast stuff out of gold and silver. It's like the steps that you have to take before you get there. That's the important part. My background is printmaking, so there's 3,000,000 steps you take before you could ever get the piece of paper with the art on it. You know, you have to polish this piece of metal for like a long time before you can even start. So that, I think that's like the reminder of like, sometimes it does take a long time. Sometimes it does take a long time. And that's also like a reflection of what's happening in the whole world. Like if we're wanting to change the world, which we do, because this one is a little bit not the best. We have to focus on possibilities. We have to focus on possibilities, and we also have to be willing for things to change. And even if that takes a long time, we want it to go fast. We're open to miracles, change, shift overnight. Like, let's go. But we have to be willing to take little steps every day towards the future that we want for ourselves and for the greater society. So I pulled cards from 2 decks for us tonight. This one is called Shamanic Healing. These are both oracle cards by Michelle A. What is it? Mutazas. And the second one is called the Pixie Oracle deck from Spirit Speak, Mary Evans. She makes like my favorite decks. I love. And this one is circular, which is really fun. So I'll share on Instagram too, the images of these cards if you're just listening when I share the episode. So you can look at the images. But we have number 4, if you're into numbers, unknown portal. I'm going to share with you all the cards and then we'll go through like the messages. Unknown portal. What's on the other side? What's on the other side? We have number 33, exploration. Exploration. 38, my lucky number. If the shoe fits. If the shoe fits. Then from the shamanic oracle, we have and I love that this card came out when I was like talking about just like the change in the universe and the world and how anything is possible. We have number 18. It's all good. It is all good. We have 20, healing energy, healing energy. And number 13, abundance. Abundance. We're going into that 8-year. That's what it's all about. There is plenty to go around. We all can have enough and more, but we have to break through the light pattern, the societal pattern, the emotional pattern inside that tells us that we can't have what we want. So going into that unknown portal, new moon energy, we're going from the darkness of nothing and we're slowly starting to expand till again, it will be full again. So it's always an endless cycle. We know this. It's always an endless cycle. But we are going from the darkness and starting to expand slowly and slowly. So what's on the other side when we get there? We can create the possibilities. We can create the possibilities. There's always a chance to create a portal once you know how. Once you know how. On here, there's like a little coyote too. That trickster energy. Like sometimes the trickster energy is ourself, you know? We think that everything is falling down around us, but really it's just like our mind. We think that everyone's mad at us when really it's just our mind. We think that we're annoying, that people won't care. We think all these negative thoughts about ourselves. And it's just us. And we're holding ourselves back from actually like sharing both time, words, thoughts, energy with others because we're scared of being rejected. So this year is all about like breaking free from those patterns. But yeah, the unknown portal is representing that new moon for us tonight because it's what's on the other side. That's a question that I want you to think about for yourself. What's on the other side when I break through my fear? And that also might be where the fear is even coming from. Because you're like, oh, on the other side, I'm going to have all this power and all this excitement, and all this joy and all this pleasure and all this love. But I don't know how to receive that. I'm so scared of that. What is that? That's gross and disgusting. And I've never had that before. So I don't know how to do it. We don't have to be scared of the unknown. We don't have to be scared of the dark. The other day I was thinking about how and I was going to sleep. I was like, la, 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 drinking my little cherry juice with my magnesium, just like fall asleep. Oh my gosh, that would never be me before. I was terrified of the dark. I was terrified of like demons and things coming to me in the night. I would pray every night and I would set up like angels throughout like my whole home, like sending all these prayers because I was so scared that something might come in the night, that unknown space when everything is dark, and then also the subconscious space where everything is dark when we're sleeping. Like I was always worried that I wouldn't even wake up. So I'd pray, please God, let me wake up another day to live as Grace Lynn and as this human that I am. Like just praying all these things every night because I was so scared to go to sleep. We don't have to be scared. All those things that I felt were because I didn't understand what was happening around me. the unknown. I didn't understand what was happening around me. Once I was able to translate some of the information that was around me in terms of like spiritual energies, those fears dissipated, but it took literally my whole life so far until maybe 2 years ago. So Capricorn, it's slow. It's slow. In my chart too, Capricorn's on the outer planet. So it's like that theme is my whole life of slow and steady and being ruled by that Saturn energy of responsibility. But how can we rise to the responsibility in like a way that is curious and not like, I don't want to do that, because then I'll have to do all these other things. I think it's like also getting to the point where we see people that we might view as successful having all this freedom and all this time in their life, but they also have lots of responsibilities. But that's not necessarily negative if you have the understanding of how to take care of those responsibilities and how to be open to rising to your desires. Rise up. Don't be scared of what's on the other side. Okay. I also love this shining light coming through the window behind me. That's right above us. We can get there. Number 33, all about exploration. On this card too, it's beautiful. It's this cave, and coming out of the cave is these beautiful shells. Coming out of the shells is all this money. There's coins and all this money, and it's in this beautiful landscape of water. And what's in that cave? Again, going into the portal from a exploration and excitement. There's treasure inside there. There's information inside there. And that's also, how can you tap into your inner self? I think a lot of times what we're scared of is ourselves, the darkness within ourselves, the fear within ourselves, the shame, the guilt, the pain within ourselves. We're scared to even slow down. We're scared to just have nothing in the background and just listen to our thoughts, because what we might find in there is something we might not want to see. How can we reframe that as an exploration of ourselves? So even if we find something that's like not the prettiest, it's seeing it as almost like a scientific experiment. Like, that's quite interesting. Let me understand myself more to understand why I have that fear and where I can go to let it go, to release, go into the cave, let it all go, give it to the earth, and be willing to find these coins, these shells, this money, this excitement on the other side. It doesn't have to be like literal money, but it's like treasures. Like, there are treasures to be found about yourself if you're willing to look in the dark, and also be willing to follow yourself from the dark, from the deep, the dark, the depths, the despair, up through the cycle to being full again, being bright again, like the full moon, which is like what I want us to focus on. This cycle is like going inside ourselves and being willing to excavate, to release, to let go. So some things that you might want to like play around with in your everyday life in terms of like physically moving that energy: go through some clothes, get rid of old stuff, clean. I know we talked about this on the New Year episode, but really cleaning, really going into those drawers, like open these bitches up, see what's in there, you know? I just dropped my clock. How is that a message for us? Forget about time. Forget about time. Drop the clock. Forget about time. Okay, babes? Don't be worried. Just explore. Just see. doesn't matter how long it will take you to get to the other side of the cave. It's like going on a hike where you have a whole day and you can just like explore nature. Oh, and there's this moss over there and there's this lichen over there. Like take some time. And then, yeah, if the shoe fits, you are the princess. We know the story, Cinderella. We know the story. If the shoe fits, you are the princess. You are the exalted one. We all are, because we all are beautiful creations. We all are divine beings. So allow yourself to step into that princess energy, whatever that means for you, like the success. If your success means to you, like getting up and not having to set your alarm clock on like one day a week, I think that would be incredible. So allow yourself to feel that princess energy, and also allow yourself to receive things from others. Allow yourself to be treated the way that you are. I think it's really easy to allow other people not to see us because it's almost intimidating for them to see us in our power, in our energy. So we hide ourselves from certain people because we don't want to be bragging or boasting, when that's not what we are doing at all. That's a projection. That's like, oh, they think that. People might think that, when you're really just like, I feel good. My life is happy. I feel joy. Other people are like, well, fuck you. Because I've been there. I definitely feel like that. And I feel like that's something I'm truly working on, is like releasing jealousy and realizing like jealousy is truly like admiration. It's like, oh, that person has something that I want. Like if I feel jealous. And I say it all the time to my sibling, like they'll be eating a delicious treat. I'm like, oh, I'm jealous. I'm like, do I really have to say that word all the time like that? I'm so jealous. Like if someone has a cute outfit, I'm like, oh, it's so cute. I'm jealous. Like it just become like a little fun, cute phrase. And I really don't want to feel that way or act that way anymore, even if it's innocent. And being reminded that, yeah, the shoe is going to fit everyone different. But everyone has the perfect match. Everyone has the perfect match. So what is going to feel good for them in their daily life? The life that would be helpful for their spirit to live. And also like letting go of like idealism of like everything needs to be perfect in order for you to have a good life. Because I think that's unrealistic. So I think it's also like releasing again that pressure, that perfectionism of the Capricorn energy in this new moon. Like, let it go. It's all good. Abundance, healing energy. How can you tap into your own capabilities to heal yourself? And healing is never a complete cycle. I think we can get trapped in this idea of like, I have to continuously walk this mountain to ascend or whatever, but it's really just like, I think it's as essential as breathing. When we breathe out, we let go of literal toxins, all the science stuff too, but we also let go, we release, we bring our energy out into the world, and we trust and believe that it will come back to us through that internal breath, through the inhale. And then we continue the cycle again and again till we die. So that's what healing energy is. It's this continuous cycle, but we really have to support the release of energy. And that's what healing energy, Reiki, any form of healing energy is helpful towards. It's helpful towards like detoxing the body of all the energetic muck and toxins. So some of that can be like our more tangible, literal things in our body, how we release through our lymph, how we release through our liver and our gallbladder, and all the ways that our beautiful body works. The secretions, the hormones, the things we literally shit, you know? But there is also a way that we can help move along those things through an energetic standpoint to aid the insistence of our physical body. Even if we're not sick, we can use healing. So I think the word healing is so misunderstood. I could talk about that for 10 hours. But how can we tap into that hands-on energy? Place your hands on your heart. If you've ever fallen and you're like, I scraped my foot, you're going to like put your hand on there. You know, it's just instinctual. But maybe you are feeling the call to learn more about healing energy, whether that's Reiki, pranic healing, theta, whatever. There's so many different kinds. Whatever you're called to, even just something as simple as dance or movement, feeling the energy in your body, you know, I really encourage you to tap into this in the next few days, like moving the energy through your body. And then, yeah, if you feel that deeper call, maybe this year is a year that you learn more about healing energy. If you want to learn Reiki, hit me up. But there's so many different modalities. So I think it's really what feels exciting to you. And this year is about education and like learning. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm getting a master's degree. Maybe it is for you. Like, go off, honey, like get that degree. But it's like opening yourself to learning from the universe, learning from the people that you talk to every day, like listening, not just going like I'm a culprit of this. Like if I go out in public, I usually put my headphones on and I'm like, don't talk to me, instead of just like allowing myself to observe the world around me. And when I do, I always get signs and synchronicity. So I don't need to always shut the world off. And I think it's taken me a really long time to create enough energetic boundaries that I don't feel like I have to do that in order to survive, because other people's energies are so intense sometimes if you don't know how to not absorb them. Absorb, not absorb, observe. Not absorb, observe. So it's all good. There's this on this card, there's like a labyrinth, a cycle, and it could be like a garden too. There's like flowers and things like that. It's that endless cycle, endless cycle. Even if it's bad, it's gonna be good again. And that doesn't mean if it's good, it's gonna be bad again. But honestly, things happen in life that are shitty, that are bad, that are horrible, that are horrific. So yes, it will be bad again, but how can you stand in your energy, in your power, in your love, and your joy, even when things are bad and hard and difficult? Even if something negative happens in your life, it's inevitable. But how can you feel different about it? How can you also not like push away the emotions of it? Like, say someone dies in your life, that's gonna happen. That will happen unless you don't talk to anyone ever. But that's impossible. Someone will die in your life. So how can we look at it differently? But also, how can we actually feel the feelings about it? Yes, it's horrible, it's horrific, it's sad, it's so hard. How can we actually feel that and then move through it so that we can see, oh, well, they would want me to feel joy. They would want me to feel peace. They wouldn't want me to be sad forever. But then being okay if we need to go back into the cycle of grief, because there's always layers to release and let go of. It's all good. And if we can tap into spirit, we can be reminded that the cycle of life will always keep going. Always keep going. The circle of life, like life, keep going. Abundance. We have those circles again. These are like coins. And bamboo. Bamboo is so strong too. It's one of the strongest plants. It's very difficult to cut down once it starts going. So be reminded that once things start blooming, it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing and growing. Allow it to grow. Don't be scared to stand up to a higher level of yourself. Okay? Abundance. Yes, we want this to come in forms of money. That is always what we think about. But it's also like, I want us to also tap into relationships. And not necessarily like, oh, I have 3,000 friends, I'm so abundant. But it's like the energy and the love that we have in those friendships and our relationships with family, pets, people that you work with, people that you see at the grocery store, people everywhere. Like, be reminded that there's not always just horrible people out there. There are an abundant amount of beautiful, joyful, amazing people that are there in the world. Not everyone is going to reject you. So I want us to be open to building new relationships this year, but also holding our foundation strong, like the bamboo, for the ones that we have now, and not being afraid to like rekindle relationships. Like that's something that I'm wanting to focus on, because it's very easy for me to be isolated. I talk to people all day, so like I don't always and then the psychic stuff and the medium stuff. It's just like it's very easy for me to be in my own little world because I'm constantly like tapping in for others. So then I also have to be reminded, to leave my own little bubble sometimes and allow things and relationships to bloom in my life. So that's something I'm also focusing on. But I encourage you to focus on that too, like being open to like people maybe that are adjacent to you, like you're like, oh, actually we have a lot in common, maybe I should be friends with this person. Like not only relying on who we've always known and being unafraid to meet new people, abundance. So that's what I want us to focus on. Not being afraid of responsibility, rising to your desires, allowing things to come into your life, working on releasing and letting go, doing this with some tangible actions the next few days. So for me, I'm going to clean my car. That's the new moon energy that's the action I'm going to take. I'm also going to do some candles. I love lighting candles, doing a little energy healing little spell for myself. So if you want to tap into some candle magic, I encourage you to work with the color silver or the color blue. That's just like intuitive messages coming in. So maybe you could set up a little altar, do a little clearing for yourself. How can I release? And how can I not be afraid of going into that unknown portal and take it again from a place of exploration and excitement to see what's on the other side and allow that shoe to slide right in? What it's meant for you is meant for you. But we oftentimes are like scared when we actually get what we want. We're like, whoa, I didn't know if it was going to come that fast. So again, be okay with things coming in quick as a hawk's wing. I don't know. And also taking time slow, like the goat climbing up the side of the mountain. And they can keep climbing forever and ever and climb on anything, any surface. They can keep rising. So even when things get tough and difficult, we can continue to focus on our own like inner anchor what grounds us to the earth? Why do we want the things we want? And how can we get there? How can we be okay with getting there? How can we be okay with the unknown? Pulling up to the portal, like, let's go. Let's see what's on the other side. Okay. Put up your boundaries if you're scared. Put up your boundaries if you're scared. But no, you don't have to always hold so tightly to the way that you want it to get done. It's going to get done. Be willing to take chances. Be willing to do things differently. And it's all good. It's all good. So that is our message. Thank you guys for listening. Happy new moon. Let me know how you feel. Let me know how this resonates. Let me know if this sounds any better with this microphone. The ceilings are mad tall in here, so I think I got to work on that echo, but I'm hoping this is better than it was before. And even if it isn't, that's my opportunity to dive deeper into how can I make this the best it possibly can be, but not from a place of perfectionism, from the place of I'm okay to try it again. I'm okay to try it again. It's going to get done. It's going to be there. So I hope you can resonate. I hope you can feel that. Cheers to you. Happy New Year. Angel Face Magic Hour. Thank you for listening. I'll see you guys next week. We have some good interviews coming out. We're going to be talking about manifestation. We're going to be talking about divine feminine, divine masculine energy and all that kind of silly stuff we might see online in terms of how people might explain that. Let's talk about the real, the raw. We're going to be talking more about cosmic energy. We're going to be here for these new moon and full moon readings. We're going to be doing crystal stuff. We have so much stuff planned for 2024. So if you're just watching this video on YouTube, subscribe to my channel. If you're just listening to this for the first time on Apple or Spotify, give us a rating and review. 5 stars if you're nasty. And yeah, truly give me a review on Apple because we don't have that many, and I know that will help the podcast grow. That's the way we get bigger. That's the way we get bigger. So I appreciate everyone telling me they like the podcast on Instagram too. Leave us a comment, whatever, if you just want to tune in and say hi, I would love it. If you want to get a reading with me, you can go to my website. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week and have a wonderful night. Many blessings. Let's take a deep breath, breathing in. Exhale out the mouth, let it all go. Let it go, babes. Love you. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.